Well, the Eagles have the most complete game, the most dominating win that the Eagles haven't had since literally the NFC Championship game in 2022. That's how long it's been. And let me tell you something. This is a really big win to build off of, 2 straight wins, and a lot to talk about. So let's get straight into everything that happened in this game.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
So this isn't going to be scripted because I really want to just kind of let it all out. I just say to myself, man, this will be probably one of the most positive videos I've made this season regarding this team. And the storyline going into this game and how important it was to win this game, now winning 2 straight games. And before I get into anything else, this is a word from our sponsor at BetUS, and this is a word from our sponsors. This video is sponsored by BetUS. It has been a rough road for the Philadelphia Eagles this season for all Eagle fans. Will the Eagles rise to the occasion or continue to play down to the competition? If I'm going all in, giving it my all for a Super Bowl, I'm going to bet $500 and get $7,000 back at the end of the year, and we still stay true to the team that we believe in. But will the problems continue? We will find out. Make sure to check out BetUS. Get a 150% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with promotion code YouTube150. I want to thank BetUS for sponsoring this live stream or video, and let's get back to the content. Now, really the biggest storyline going into this game with the New York Giants, the Eagles beat the Giants 28-3, totally demolished them. Biggest storyline was really Saquon Barkley going into MetLife and, didn't know what to expect of this game. Because in recent weeks, haven't been happy with some of the carries for Saquon, how they've been using him. Really just depends because the run game isn't always going to work in some games. Where last week, the Eagles, try to run the ball. And, unfortunately, we just couldn't really get the passing game down too much last week and, some issues here or there. But for this game, this was one of the most complete games for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I got to say, you could say it's against the Giants. You could say last week it was against the Browns. But it is hard winning in this league every single week, and I believe in you can really build the chemistry up. You can really build a lot of things up to see if things do get better over time. Yes, against the Giants, to dismantle them the way they did, I feel a lot better about that because that's what they should be doing against a team like that. On paper, it's night and day between the Eagles and the New York Giants, where last week the Eagles won by 4 points, and, a win is a win, but I certainly wasn't happy about how everything was executed last week and in recent weeks. But this is more of a positive video for me at this format because I think this is a win that you can really build off of. Saquon Barkley, 17 carries, 176 yards, 659 yards for the season. Now, he was 14 yards away from getting his all-time high in rushing in a game. And Saquon Barkley was like, nope, I want you to feed the other guys because they really deserve it. So it's so unselfish of Saquon Barkley to, tell Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni was going to throw him back in the game to get those 14 yards because he really wanted to do right by his player to have that milestone under a new team. And Saquon was like, no, I don't care about that. And that was just, man, my heart, man, for Saquon Barkley to have what he did in this game, gashing that Giants defense and playing with anger. He talked a little bit of shit in this game too, which I actually really liked, but he wasn't over the top. He just let his play kind of speak for himself, and that's really what matters. Okay, he averaged 9.8 yards per touch. This is why the philosophy of this offense, I think, really has to change, especially I think it has to change dramatically. Like from a pass-first offense, I think we have to run the ball a lot. I think if it ain't broke, I mean, seriously, just keep plugging away, man. Keep plugging away at this. This is your recipe for how dominating you could be. And let me tell you, I mean, you had Fred Johnson at left tackle today, and he had a little bit of trouble with Brian Burns as Kayvon Thibodeau was in the game, okay? And then the other thing to, kind of what was going on in this game in general, I mean, right, had Tyler Steen at right guard. So, I thought Tyler Steen came in. I think, like I said, the run blocking was absolutely fantastic. He had some really big runs in this game. So Saquon Barkley, to me, man, I think this was the perfect game for him. You had Giants fans burning his jersey before the game, and he actually saw all this happening when he was in the locker room listening to his music before the game. And I think that just gave him some more bulletin material just to kind of shut that team up a little bit and really show what he has around him and how he benefits from a good offensive line and with weapons all around him. And I couldn't be any happier about it. Trust me, guys, it's probably going to be a little bit of a longer video because there's just so much to discuss here. Jalen Hurts. Okay, Jalen Hurts didn't really have to throw the ball that much. He threw the ball 14 times today. Not much. 10 for 14, 114 yards. Wasn't much, and a touchdown. Really wasn't much. Had some rushing, obviously, with a couple of the brotherly shove plays at the goal line, so that really did help. Jalen Hurts, I thought played good in this game because he didn't, like I said, didn't have to pass the ball that much. I thought the 4th and 3 to A.J. Brown was a really good play. I think it was a bad play to call at that moment because really the first quarter you were scoreless. You didn't do much of the first quarter. You will go down the line. There was a lot of dropbacks where he was still looking for guys wide open. It took way too long to develop at times. I don't know what's going on in this first quarter, but this needs to stop. I think there's a couple negative things I could say is this. I think we all agree the first quarter needs to be better. You cannot still be scoreless. And if this is Nick in the first quarter or whatever's going on, it has got to stop because there were some dropbacks that resulted in sacks. Middle of the field barely used. Devontae Smith, you can only distribute the game. You can only distribute to specific players throughout this game. Devontae Smith had a forced screen pass throw to him. Calcaterra with a really bad block on pretty much a 2-on-1 and couldn't even block one guy. So Devontae Smith didn't really have a big game. But A.J. Brown, came in clutch on that 4th and 3. They found out, they saw that the Giants were kind of confused a little bit. They saw that a linebacker was lined up on A.J. Brown. They went ahead with the play, and I was just really scared out of my mind. And I don't want to be scared out of my mind when I see this offense on the field. Every time Jalen Hurts throws a pass, I got to hold my breath sometimes. But he was one step in front of the linebacker, got the touchdown there, and I guess it worked out. I guess when you see the matchup and A.J. Brown is lined up on a linebacker, and he was one step in front of that linebacker, he did really good on that play. So really, really liked that play a lot. And like I said, not the best play they could have ran there, but I thought it, obviously it worked out really well. Saw the matchup. I thought Hurts changed the play on the line a few times in this game. I think where really things started to change for this offense was where the game plan, the play calling really changed. After they went up 14-0, they threw the ball 3 straight times. I was like, Jesus. Why are they when they don't go back to things? I can't stand that. When things work, keep working what's been working the entire game. They get away from the run game. They're up 14-0. They throw three times, doesn't work. And then where things absolutely changed was the third quarter. Okay. That first series in the third quarter that resulted in absolutely nothing. After that, man, it changed. There was RPOs to A.J. Brown. There was one, that one series was fantastic. Couple of RPOs, read options to A.J. Brown. Not just throwing out of shotgun or running out of shotgun. They were adding Ben Van Simmeren as the fullback. Saquon Barkley getting that big run up the middle. Like, when you have a faster, a correlated play between quarterback to running back where the defense, if you're just snapping it from shotgun, okay, when you're under center and you're doing other things and you're snapping it just from shotgun, I feel like defenses just read it so much because there's not much motion. They did some misdirection with Ben Van Simmeren with the block outside, the run up the middle, Jalen Hurts faking that he had the ball to the outside with that big run up the middle by Saquon Barkley. I thought Jalen Hurts had the ball. If my eyes get tricked, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign that, I think they have to correlate it just so much faster because when you play this robotic offense you're just running some verts, you're not doing much, and it just looks plain and boring, and you're not involving Saquon Barkley in the mix, you're not going to get anywhere yardage-wise. I mean, make it make sense on specific downs, on specific plays. The down and distance has to make sense, and sometimes they don't make sense. That first quarter to half of that second quarter, it wasn't making sense. Being up 14-0 and throwing 3 straight times didn't make sense. Hurts missed a few wide open guys in this game. This happens to every quarterback. This is what happens. Saquon Barkley, when he was in motion, went to the end zone. And I think he got pressured way too fast because the protection was god-awful on that play. I think he just should have thrown it up. But you want to make sure that, Saquon Barkley sees it before you throw it. But I guess he just didn't trust it. 9 out of 10 times when running backs are in motion in this offense, I think Hurts clearly throws to them. But a big mismatch there. There was another play earlier in the game in the second half where Devontae Smith ran a mesh concept in the middle, and Hurts did not even see him, completely blind on a couple of plays. There probably was about 3 or 4 plays. I thought I saw 3 plays that he missed wide open guys at times. But like I said, I think because it's Jalen Hurts, people just... And yes, I was pissed off during the game. I mean, you're in the moment. Of course, you want the play to happen. Plus, Devontae Smith, I want him to get at least more than a catch in this game. But, sometimes you're not going to be able to distribute the ball as much as you want to in these games. So I thought the plays were way better in the second half. Is there dual play calling still between Nick and Kellen? Yeah, I mean, I think there is. But what I could really tell from Jalen Hurts, the offense in general, I think they really have Nick's back. I could tell that they are playing for Nick and they trust Nick. I think from a lot of the interactions I've seen during the game, after the game, I feel like a lot of these players do trust Nick and getting this offense to the next level. I mean, it's hope to be seen. This is a week-to-week league, guys. So, things could change next week or get better next week. You never know. Since they got Cincy next week, we won't get into that. But from this game, it looks like there is a trust factor there. It looks like it is there with this head coach, with the relationship to the players throughout this game. I kind of seen that a little bit more. There's no players, kind of taking sides to themselves against the head coach. There's none of that going on. But I definitely think that when you add these motion plays and when you have Ben Van Simmern as a fullback and what he could do on some of the blocks, the misdirection handoffs, that's got to be Kellen Moore. It just has to be. It's just way too creative for me to say that this is Nick Sirianni. And, we know the absolute problem is, they need these quick starts. The first quarter is a major problem. They really have to fix that. So I thought they played really good in that aspect. And, they really since the first series coming out of the second half, ever since that, after that first series, they looked different. Jalen Hurts had rhythm. Even a couple of the plays where Jalen Hurts actually ran with the football in his hands, naturally not even made to be a play. Remember that draw play that Hurts changed the play earlier in the game? It probably was the first half into that draw play. And it just didn't work. He hesitated way too much. I feel like when Nick calls plays, it's more hesitation. And then when Kellen calls plays, he gets Jalen Hurts into a rhythm. He looks more comfortable to run with the ball in his hands. He looks a little bit faster at times. He's not, undecisive on running or trying to throw the ball or something like that. So I think with what you dealt with today and the team you were facing, I think the Eagles really they could have scored more points. If this first quarter, if they could score more and at least get 10 points or at least a touchdown that first quarter, yeah, I mean, they still dominated, but they could do so much better. And I feel really good about this win against the New York Giants. Offensively, I thought they were great. I thought they were fantastic. I couldn't, Kenneth Gainwell will still treat like how they treat Kenneth Gainwell. Saquon ran a lot. That first half, they had some big runs. He was probably tired out a little bit. I don't know. They like using Kenneth Gainwell for 2-minute offense. They just like doing it. I don't know why, but I actually did like how they used Kenneth Gainwell in correlation to some of these big plays by Saquon Barkley, where you're using 2 different running backs that have 2 different skill sets. And Gainwell had some really good first downs. I give props to Gainwell when it makes sense. And, he ran the ball really well behind Saquon. I thought he did a really good job in this game. But As for other wide receivers, like Jahan Dotson in press coverage, I know they tried to throw him a long ball that could have maybe been a PI. Realistically, I really want Jahan Dotson to be more involved. The wide receiver threes are totally dismissed in this offense. But I think you have to think of it this way going forward, that, when his number is called, it will show. But you have to think of this offense really running on all cylinders to a certain aspect. There hasn't been that many games playing with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown together in this offense. A.J. Brown missed a lot of time. So I think this offense is growing by the week. And to win 2 games straight, and I don't care if it's against the Browns or the Giants, I don't look at it that way, because if the Eagles only won by a point or by a few points, I probably wouldn't be happy about it, because this is what they should be doing against bad teams. They should have beaten the Browns even worse last week, and I really wasn't even happy about that win. Happy about the win, but like I said, there were some issues. I think getting Jalen Hurts into that rhythm and making those specific plays for him, because I think sometimes when he drops back, I'm not seeing middle of the field plays. I see no routes to the middle. I saw the vertical game. I saw it happen. And then things just completely changed after that first series in the second half. After that series, things completely changed. RPO, read option, quick passes, misdirection runs with a fullback, Ben Van Simmeren. That back in high school, he played quarterback, he played DB, he played linebacker, he played multiple positions. So I guess they're not wasting Ben Van Simmeren in that aspect, which is great. And you had Fred Johnson at left tackle. So you're dealing with things. I think both offenses were dealing with a lot of things. So offensively, I thought they did really good. Jalen Hurts didn't have to throw the ball that much in this game. If something is working, stick to it, because those big plays will come, and they will be very gifting and rewarding once you get this run game going. Saquon Barkley should have already probably been close to 1,000 yards already by how they treated him the last few weeks. But let me tell you, this team is literally a one drop from Saquon Barkley in that Falcons game away from being 5-1, and that's just a realistic factor to it, where the Eagles should be right now. But a dominating performance by the offense. Okay, going into the defensive side of the ball, let me tell you something. 8 sacks for this defense. Nakobe Dean, 2 from Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean, when they blitz Nakobe Dean as a down, he hits the gap fast, goes after the quarterback. He was just fantastic today. This was Nakobe Dean's probably his best game. Bryce Huff had a sack. Holy shit, guys. This is the second game where Bryce Huff has actually been in a 4-point stance, and look what he did. 4-point stance, getting after it. His get off looks so much better. There was a few times where he got a hand on the quarterback, he got blocked out of it, but got a hand to slow him down and really helped another defensive lineman make a play. So that was Nakobe Dean for 2 sacks, Bryce Huff for a sack, Josh Sweat had a sack. Jalen Carter had 2 sacks, fantastic. Jalix Hunt had a strip sack when pretty much the backups came in, when Kenny Pickett came in and Drew Lock came in, and pretty much the Giants threw in the towel at the end of the game and did that. They actually threw in the towel. They threw the white flag up and said, "We give up. We're putting our backup quarterback in." So surprisingly, the Eagles came out of this really not much injuries with Mekhi Becton with the concussion. Zach Bond Zach Bond has a shoulder injury, so he got it late in the game. We'll see what happens with that. This is our best linebacker that's hurt right now. We'll see what the injury report looks like down the road. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I want him to have an opportunity and showcase himself, because I think we're about to see some good things from him. I'm hoping. Can't put too much pressure on him. He's a late-round pick. I can't put too much pressure on it, but it's exciting to see that, if Jeremiah Trotter has an opportunity, I have no issue starting him in a game, because I really want him to play. So your defensive line got after it. It's almost amazing to think that the Giants gave Daniel Jones, even paying him $40 million this year. It's insane how that man got re-signed. Quinyon Mitchell for the day. Quinyon Mitchell, targeted 4 times, 2 catches allowed for 15 yards. Okay, another pick, man, dropped. dropping one to Reed Blankenship that was tipped by Chauncey, but Jalen Carter went off sides on the defensive line, so that would have been a pick today. Of course, Reed Blankenship, of all people, seems like Reed and Chauncey are the only two that can get picks on this team that are capable of it. But man, Quinyon Mitchell dropped another one, man. Should have been like 5 picks. Get these guys on the jug machine as fast as possible because I just can't deal with it anymore. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. But Quinyon Mitchell, man, from his physical tackling, the Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean's another one. His punt return, I'm starting to like Cooper DeJean on punt returns because he weighs a little bit more. He has better balance, and he won't break a bone getting tackled one time. Getting what's his face back to punt returns would be great. Britton Covey, sorry, I forgot his name for 2 seconds. But I like Cooper DeJean. I thought Cooper DeJean has been a huge upgrade to the secondary. I think as a defense, they are just growing game by game. A lot of new faces, new defensive coordinator. I knew really when the season started, the offense should be like productive out of the gate. And I know there's been issues, but the defense, I knew they were going to go through their growing pains a little bit because a lot of new faces, a lot of players are being taken out of position, doing different things they don't normally do. But I guess Vic Fangio sees the talent that they could do a little bit more. Now, beginning of the game, which I didn't like about the defense, they had Josh Sweat on Neighbors in coverage, which made no sense. They had Brandon Graham in coverage, dropping in coverage. Those guys can't do that. I don't know why they're even doing it at this point. Makes no sense to me. But the defense just held their own the entire game, making stops, getting pressure on Daniel Jones nonstop. I mean, because you don't think about the secondary too much because, man, this defensive line was a swarming nightmare in this game. And I couldn't have asked for more. 8 sacks. They had 5 last game against Cleveland. They have 8 this game. So sack numbers have went up. Fantastic. I think the Giants had what on their offense? They had like 4 or 5 sacks. I think 5 sacks on their offense. But I loved how the pass rush was. Coverage was great. I thought Slay played well. I thought everybody played really well. When the offense was, between the first quarter to half of the second quarter, the offense was struggling a little bit. Some of the play calling was at times. Defense held their own. Getting the ball back to the offense, getting more opportunities, and then they finally were on stride, which is great. I think this defense is just going to grow over time, week by week. And since they have 2 wins straight now, they've won 2 straight games. The defense hasn't given up a touchdown in a couple weeks. Okay, and I think that's big. Now, the crazier stat that I didn't even know about that somebody told me, and this is how bad Daniel Jones is, okay? This is how bad he is. Daniel Jones has not thrown a touchdown in MetLife. Okay, since January 1st of 2022, let me say that again. Daniel Jones has not thrown a touchdown in MetLife since January 1st of 22. That's just, wow. That's insane. I thought that was a joke, but it's actually true. It's actually true. And you pay that man a lot of money. And Saquon Barkley's a Philadelphia Eagle. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So, I think what's even more, as this team is growing every single week, I think what's even more great about it is that they've been playing more on the road and winning. You know what I mean? You're one drop away. You're one catch away, really, a drop ball on 4th and 3, okay? In that Falcons game from being 5-1 right now. The Eagles have been on the road mostly. I don't even count that first game in Brazil as a home game, but I on the road, I think they've done pretty damn good. Besides a couple games here and there, but I think they've done pretty well. Haven't played at home that much so far. Sidney Brown was back and he made a big tackle on special teams. He got a deflection late in the game when the backups were in at safety. I mean, we still got Sidney Brown still out there right now. Potentially they have to incorporate him in this defense. You have a hybrid player, a safety / corner. They have him listed as a safety right now. You're going to get Bradbury back soon. What they do with that, I have no idea. DeJean finally in this defense now, a couple games in now, which is great. So he's just getting better as, the weeks move on. So guys, as much as we can complain, you face the Browns and you face the Giants, you won 2 straight. There's nothing to celebrate over. That's why usually when I make these videos about game day, I normally don't read the comments because literally it's people going back and forth, whether it's tunnel vision. Because you know what? I've been beating this team every week. And for them to have I can't complain when they have a game like this. Okay? Patrick Mahomes can have more interceptions than he does passing touchdowns, and he gets a pass every single time he makes a mistake because he's got 2-3 Super Bowls under his belt. Okay, Jalen Hurts makes a mistake. I get it. Do I think there's still issues with this offense, things they have to tinker with, like to get Jalen Hurts into a rhythm? Yes, I think that needs to get fixed. And obviously, if things do work, stick with it. And sometimes they stray away from it, or they stray away from it, and then they come back to it, either when it's too late or when there is time to make some plays, the Eagles come back and do really well. But I think there is an identity issue. I think this has been one of the more complete games. It looked like the Eagles were just having fun. I haven't seen that in a while. The Eagles players were just having fun. That locker room speech from Nick, there was more energy in that room. Even after the win against the Browns, I didn't even see that energy. A 4-point win over the Browns, I didn't see much energy in that celebration after the win. But this game right here in MetLife, that post-game celebration in the locker room, there was a ton of energy. And it showed in-game, and it showed in that locker room. So I think we're building here. This is a week-by-week league. We're building as the weeks go on. Jalen Hurts is never going to be perfect. No quarterback is. On Sunday, there's probably a lot of quarterbacks that have missed wide open guys. Trust me, Malik Neighbors was bitching after the game that he was open multiple times. But of course he is. Because the defense was in Daniel Jones' face all day. It happens. That's just how it is. That's the NFL. But these slow starts is really the only concern. And sticking to what the strength is, I think it should change to a run-first offense. I really do. Second half was a bit, they scored the second quarter, which was great. And then that second half was like, man, there was a rhythm. There was a heartbeat. There was comfortableness with the quarterback and everything around him, making things simple, short passing game, running the football, just tiring the Giants defense out. Okay? But you overcame the adversity, which is great. Fred Johnson had trouble, but he tightened up and played better. Tyler Steen goes in for Mekhi Becton with the concussion. So Tyler Steen, I thought, played really well. Thank God for Jeff Stoutland and the depth that the Eagles have on this offensive line. So you're out. You have a few more games without Jordan Mailata. He'll come back soon. So I don't think we should kill this team this week. I've done enough of that. I need a mental break. And I'm not just doing it because they killed the Giants, but in my head, in my mind, in my heart, they did what they were supposed to do. And mistakes are going to happen. Even in 22, when the Eagles were dominating, they made mistakes that year. They didn't run enough. They didn't run the ball enough with Saquon, with Miles Sanders enough at certain games, and we were nitpicking the littlest things. And I nitpick every single week. So you want to fight in the comments section? Go ahead. Because I'm going to enjoy this till Wednesday, then get prepared for the Cincinnati Bengals, and that's pretty much where I'm going to be at. That's where I'm at. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I will read some, but I'm not going to fight with anybody because everyone has their own take on this team and where we are and where they're going. I get it. I can't. You want to talk about the Eagles? If the Eagles lost against the Giants, say they lost by 1 or they won by 3 points, I don't think anybody would be happy. I probably wouldn't even be happy because this is not how they should be playing against a bad team. A really bad team. Okay? The Dallas Cowboys barely beat the Giants. They were struggling against the Giants. The Eagles were dominating from start to finish of this game. That's the difference. That's the difference I see from week to week with this team. The defense is growing. The sacks are combining. We're doing more. And I think I think Vic is getting more comfortable with some of his players and the usage of these players. And offensively, like I said, need a fast start. We need a lightning bolt of a fast start in the first quarter. They got to score in the first quarter because I can't deal with that. I think we'd all agree we're kind of annoyed at that. Every game, it's like the same thing. The Eagles script is in. Now it's time to score in the second quarter. That's pretty much how it goes. So I feel good. There'll be a lot of positive things to talk about this week. Trade deadline's coming up. You know, the Eagles add to a position here. Big opportunities in front of us here. So we'll see how it goes. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate everybody that joined the live play-by-play live stream of the Eagles-Giants game. Very much enjoyed it. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. And definitely check out, like the video. Helps out tremendously, too. Just hitting the like button does a lot for this channel for a long way. So I appreciate it so much. You guys just relax. We'll be ready to go. And I'm going to enjoy it because I felt good in my heart about this game. As a team chemistry and as these guys look like they were having fun, if that's the case, and that's what it looks like, I'm hoping for better things ahead. They go into that Bengals game and they go the complete opposite, do a 180, and they go back and revert to just how they've looked at points. It's not going to feel good. But I feel good about it, though. I feel comfortable, and, like I said, nothing's perfect, but a couple things to fix, few things to fix, nitpicking at things, but I feel good about it. I think we should feel really good about this, really good about it. Not only does the team feel good, but we did a favor for Saquon Barkley to just get the Giants out of the way. And it's a division game, because usually these games are usually close, and the Eagles dominated in a division rival, which is great. So let's look ahead to better things. We'll see where it goes. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you check out BetUS. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Shake some up, follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.